Welcome to Corks and Cauldrons, where two friends uncork a bottle, cast a few spells, and dive deep into fantasy books and theories. I'm Gabby.
And I'm Jen. Quick disclaimer, this is an adult podcast about adult books. So expect some spicy language, spicy content, and spicy spoilers.
So now, let's pour a drink, grab a snack, and get started. Today we're covering chapters 1 through 5 of Gild from the Plated Prisoner series. So Jen, what did you make for us today?
Today we made focaccia bread topped with caramelized onions and cream cheese with a drizzle of honey and some apple slices. I did this recipe because Gild is all about the decadent lifestyle that Midas leads, so pretty much everything that we make for this book is going to be a little bit extra. The goal is to give you a 5-course meal while we cover this book, and each book after will be similar. Even though the food seems decadent, I'm going to try and make it easy on your wallet.
I, however, don't care about your wallets. I am your friendly neighborhood fantasy bartender. And today, our cocktail of choice, I'm calling it the Honeyed Lie. And what is in it? We've got some apple cider to complement your apples and your bread, Jen. We've got some vodka, because I'm a basic white girl. We've got some honey simple syrup and some Prosecco. And then I added a little bit of a rosemary sprig in there just to give it a little bit of a classy vibe.
It's pretty.
It's so pretty. And if you are not a drinker and you wanted a mocktail version of this, you can just replace the Prosecco with sparkling water. Keep everything else, and keep out the vodka, I guess. But keep everything else the same, and it would give you the exact same kind of vibe. So yeah, that's the Honeyed Lie. So, taking a deep sip out of my cocktail, tell me about the mythology of Midas, Jen.
Okay. So according to mythology, Midas was the king of Phrygia, and all of the myths I've read agree that he had the magic touch. It seemed like everything that he did, any endeavor or project he took on, was successful, but he was greedy. All of the myths agree that Midas was given a wish from Dionysus. So in case you don't know, Dionysus is the Greek god of wine and the personification of the blessings of nature in general, aka the god of parties and frat boys and ecstasy. Gabby is 100% sure that he's a Taurus.
I'm sorry, he's the god of parties and nature and ecstasy. That's 100% a Taurus if I've ever met one.
Okay.
That's coming from a Taurus.
Fair. Dionysus granted Midas this wish for his kind treatment of Silenus, who's a satyr that was either in Dionysus's court or he was his foster father and schoolmaster. They all say that Midas asked for everything that he touched to turn to gold, which is where we get the saying the Midas touch. Dionysus didn't seem to think that this was the best idea ever. He even asked him if he was sure that he wanted to do it. And Midas was like, bruh, yes.
So Dionysus was like, no, like, are you, this is exactly what you said. This is exactly what you're getting. Are you sure about this? And Midas said, no cap, bro.
100%.
Is that what the youth are saying? No, I don't know.
But the day after the wish was granted, Midas woke up and immediately tested it out. Again, depending on which myth you read, it depends on what he touched. It's either a rock, his nightstand, a twig. But most of them agree that he was super happy about this until he tries to eat and drink. Then he realizes what a mistake he made with his wish. Most of the myths say that he asks Dionysus to take the curse away from him. Yep, he goes real quick from saying that it was a wish to a curse. The god heard him and felt sorry for him. So he had him wash his hands in the river Pactus, which explains why the ancient Greeks were able to find gold on the river banks. Aristotle's version of the story says that the curse was actually never lifted, and that Midas eventually died of starvation as a result of his vain prayer for the gold touch. The version of the myth told by Nathaniel Hawthorne in A Wonder Book for Girls and Boys says that Midas's daughter actually came to him upset that her dad had touched all of the roses in their rose garden and they no longer had a scent, and they'd lost all their fragrance. So she was really upset. And when he went to console her, he accidentally turned her to gold, which is what made him regret his choices and asked Dionysus to remove his curse. In this story, he actually had to place his daughter in the river Pactos in order to reverse the touch. So
So they
yay,
both had to
happy
take a
ending.
bath?
Yeah, they both got to take a bath. But, I mean, it was good in the end.
Sure.
So Aristotle's is the only non-happy ending for this myth. So that's kind of the story behind Midas, who was actually the idea behind Gild in the first place, which I want to point out that it was pretty amazing that Raven Kennedy came up with this series based on a myth that's maybe 3 paragraphs long in most
There's
books.
like
It's
not a
tiny.
lot to it. Yeah.
So it's impressive that her imagination is just that.
We'll talk more about that in our deep dives because I
Yeah.
have some thoughts. But
Okay.
before then, let's go quickly. We're going to do a quick recap of all of these chapters.
Perfect.
And we're going to start at the very beginning, chapter 1. Chapter 1 throws us right into the world of the Sixth Kingdom, where everything is cold, gold, and over the top, including King Midas himself. We open the book, and we are in the middle of an orgy, just banging right from the top, I guess. And meanwhile, Oren, our girl, Oren is ours. She's also Midas's favored saddle, and she is perched in her literal gold bird cage, watching just like it's another day, just casually watching an orgy in front of her. And right away, in that first chapter, we get hit with the heartbreaking reality of Oren's life. The cage isn't just a flashy accessory, it's her whole world. That's all she's known. She's completely isolated, even from the other saddles, and she's so touch-starved that her longing practically leaps off the page. But instead of affection, Midas gives her just control and manipulation, wrapped in a golden bow. The kicker? Oren herself is literally gilded. Her skin, her hair, everything except her eyes and teeth are gold. And at this point in the story, we're assuming it's Midas's touch that did that to her. But it's clear that there's more to the story. Obviously, this was the first chapter. This chapter sets the stage for dark, glittering power dynamics that we're about to dive into. Chapter 2 gives us some backstory on Oren. And spoiler, Oren has had it. She's had it rough. Our girl has not had an easy start to her life. We learn that she was a victim of child trafficking, ripped away from her family and thrown into a life of survival. That's where she met Midas, who swooped in and, quote, saved her. I mean, that's how she sees it. She's been with him for 10 years, and she clings on to this idea of him as her savior. Midas, of course, leans into that savior complex. He tells her that the cage is there for her protection, that she's lucky to have him, that she should be grateful for this life of luxury. Remember, everything around her is gold, and she's protected, all of that. And she buys it. What else can she do? The only other life she's known has been terrible. She tells herself it could be worse, even if it's painfully clear that her life is far from ideal. We also meet King Folk in this chapter, and wow, he is a slimeball. He's got the power of duplication and the personality of a used car salesman. Salesman? Folk and Midas are allies, for now, but it's obvious that there is tension brewing. And we learn that Oren.
I think it's Oren. Like
orange.
O-R. Yeah, like orange.
Oren. Okay. And we learn that Oren drinks a lot. And can we blame her? But also, like, not same, but we could be friends.
Don't judge me right now.
I'm judging your coffee. Chapter 3. Speaking of drinking, Oren wakes up with a wine hangover, which, like, same, girl, we've all been there, and gets a lovely reminder of how saddles are treated in her world. This is where we meet Digby, her loyal and stoic guard, and Jacques, the new guy who is, we're going to say rude.
He's fantastic.
He's the worst. We hate him.
Yeah, he's kind of bad.
Their interactions highlight how little respect that Oren gets, even as her favorite. Remember, she's a saddle. She's just a concubine. She's good for one thing, and that's it. The big reveal that we get in chapter 3 here is Oren's magical ribbons. She can control them. They're incredibly strong, and they're completely unique to her. But instead of using them, she keeps them hidden, almost like she's afraid to acknowledge her own power. This is a subtle but important detail because it hints at some untapped potential that we'll see later on in the books. And then, this chapter also drops a bomb. King Falk offers to buy Oren for a night. The fact that Midas doesn't immediately shut this down is our first big oh no moment. What does favored even mean if he's willing to loan her out? Chapter 4 is where the betrayal happens, and it hits hard. Midas agrees to sell Oren to Folk for a night. This isn't just a political move, it's a complete shattering of her trust. For 10 years, she has believed that Midas saved her, protected her, cared for her. And now, in one deal with another king, he's shown her just how little she truly means to him. What's particularly brutal here is the way that Midas frames the betrayal. He doesn't yell, he doesn't argue, or even try to justify it. It's businesslike. Her feelings aren't even worth addressing in this situation. The coldness here emphasizes how much he views Oren as property and not as a person. We learn more about the stakes of this deal. Folk's army is supposed to help Midas take on the Fourth Kingdom, who is ruled by King Rot.
King Rot.
King Rot. Now, we're going to talk about King Rot for a second. His name alone, super intimidating. Like, if you were to meet someone named King Rot, you would probably give them a wide berth and just be like, yeah, man, whatever, you do you. Just leave me alone. He has, as we can tell by his name, the power of decay, and that makes him downright terrifying. While Midas's power is all about creating and preserving wealth, Rot's power is about destruction. The two are polar opposites, and that's going to set up a really intriguing dynamic between them. However, for our girl, Oren, the real focus here is on the betrayal. This moment, this is where we disagree. This moment is the first major crack in her loyalty to Midas. She's not ready to walk away yet. She's still clinging to the idea that he's doing this for her protection and their shared goals. But the doubt is there, and it's only going to grow.
Yeah.
So chapter 5 seems a little bit quieter compared to a lot of the drama that just happened, but it's a powerful turning point for our girl. While Midas and Folk are deep in their political discussions, Oren is sitting quietly, but our girl, she's not idle. She's listening, she's observing, and she's gathering information. This is where we see one of the first hints that she is smarter and more resourceful than people are going to give her credit for.
It's my favorite part.
Then there's the book throwing incident, which is another standout moment in this chapter. Oren throws a book at Risa to force her to stop dancing. This is the first act of rebellion that we actually see from Oren. And it's not just about protecting Risa, which I think we can all agree she was doing it to protect her. It's about Oren asserting a tiny bit of control in a situation where she has none. But no good deed goes unpunished. This act does come with consequences. Risa ends up with a bloody nose, and Oren earns more disdain from the other saddles, further isolating her. And then there's Queen Melina. Her introduction adds a whole new layer of tension to Oren's world. Melina openly hates Oren, which makes sense. Melina's jealous of Oren's beauty, her position as the favorite, and all the attention she gets. But Melina's bitterness also reflects the power dynamics of this world. Even as a queen, Melina is threatened by Oren, who technically has less status but wields more influence in Midas's eyes. Alright. Are you ready for our deep dives?
I am. But before we start, just to let everybody know, this deep dive is going to cover not only the chapters that we've read, but everything else that we've read so far in the Plated Prisoner series.
And we've both read the whole series up until Goldfinch, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're still gonna have some theories.
Yes.
We'll get those theories more as we cover the later books. Yes.
But if you haven't read all of that, maybe now is the time for you to stop listening.
True. Good point. But before you go, make sure to like and follow us on all social medias. We're on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and I think Threads.
Yes.
We're at Corks and Cauldron for all of them. And review us on wherever you listen to your podcasts. Give us a 5-star review, please. I mean, be honest, but 5-star would really help us out. We'd be happy with that. All right?
All right, let's do it.
You ready to dive in?
Jump in.
All right, I'm going to start with a very, very important question. Jen.
So,
did you like this book?
I did like this book. It was a little weird starting off straight out with an orgy.
Sure.
But it kind of was the best way to introduce the Midas and Oren dynamic. And I just want to cover one thing. Saddles in this in this world are concubines.
True. I did not cover that.
In case anybody was like confused, which if you've read the books, you should not be. But that's what they are.
Yes. So what do you mean about their dynamic? Do you mean like the power dynamic?
Yeah, it's the power dynamic. We see straight out in this first chapter, in just the first couple of pages, that Midas does not consider Orin a person.
Well, and she's he manipulates her. He manipulates her the whole book.
The whole book, but straight up, she's property to him as far as he's concerned. He's not going to touch her. She's just there to sit, look pretty, and watch what he's doing because he's such a man.
He'll touch her later, but
yeah, but right now,
literally, he gets off on her watching him.
Yeah,
get on with other people.
Yeah, because he's a pig.
He's the worst.
Yeah,
I'd say that he's just a typical man, but let's be real, like, not every man is like that.
Absolutely not.
Do you think there was another way she could have introduced that power dynamic?
No. I think this was the best way to do it.
I remember like opening this book when I first got it, being all excited, and like the first page, and I turned to my boyfriend and I'm like, "You make fun of my fairy porn. This book starts with an orgy, literally page 1." And I think I even warned you before I told you to read it.
Yeah, you did give me, because I like fantasy books a lot, but jumping straight into something that aggressively sexual, for me,
that's a lot.
I need the build. I like the build.
You like the foreplay.
I do, 100%. Just be like him patting somebody on the ass going, okay, I don't want you anymore, I want to fuck that one. It was a bit abrupt. I mean, I know he doesn't say that in the books, folks. It's just the way it's implied.
Yes, I agree.
So.
All right. So let's dive into chapter 1. We're going to start with Orin. She's got a lot. We've got a lot to unpack with her.
Yeah.
Right away, when we meet her, we learn that she lives in a literal golden birdcage. Like, she is described as living in a birdcage.
Yes.
And obviously we know that this birdcage is both physical and metaphorical. Mm-hmm. Like, we see a ton of growth from her later on. This birdcage tells us everything we need to know about her world. She's Midas's most prized possession. She's locked away to be admired, but not totally free. The fact that she mentions the atrium is, quote, the closest I ever get to being outside, is so heartbreaking. I could not imagine never being allowed outside. It also, like, that whole thing sets the tone for her isolation and how much she's internalized her role as a prisoner. She's really just going with it at this point. She doesn't really have a lot of defiance. She's just, this is my life. It could be worse.
Yeah.
There's a bright side to it.
And then we get Midas. Ugh. And his love of gold is super obsessive. And he likes to surround himself with it. And just wants everybody to know that it is who he is.
Literally, it's his brand. It's his whole identity.
It's his brand. And that includes his favorite saddle, Orin. Everything about him screams excess and decadent, from his orgy-filled lifestyle to the opulent Sixth Kingdom mansion that he lives in and rules.
That's all gold.
Remember, everything is gold. His entire...
everything.
His entire castle is gold. Everything. But you see that he's just kind of sus underneath. You see that he's not as great as he's trying to portray himself. He's not just a king, he's Orin's captor, and the power dynamic between them is so not balanced. And it's really hard to read and be comfortable with. Like, especially if you've been in a relationship that was this imbalanced, where you either you were the prisoner or you were the keeper. Mm-hmm. You read this and you're like, this is uncomfortable.
Girl, you could do so much better. We've all had friends in this relationship. I think we've all been in some scale of this relationship. Yeah. Hopefully not all in a cage, but we've all had that manipulative boyfriend before. Yes. Or spouse or whatever before we grew some some cojones, for lack
Mm-hmm.
of a better term. So back to Oren, though. She is starving for any sort of physical touch and affection. She is so isolated. She craves Midas's love, but is constantly walking on eggshells to avoid upsetting him. We hear lines like, quote, "I've learned to stay still because that's what he likes, and I am careful to keep my tone playful and sultry." Which these are really heartbreaking to hear because they show just how much she's conditioned herself to please him.
Mm-hmm.
These are classic abuse dynamics, and she doesn't even fully recognize it, even though, as readers, we're screaming at her, "Girl, you can do better."
Yeah, and one of the biggest things with this chapter is that Oren is literally gold.
Yeah.
Her skin, her hair, her
Everything.
blood, because that does cover it later. Yep. Her blood.
Her ribbons, her
ribbons, everything. So it not only makes her unique, but reinforces her role as Midas's ultimate treasure.
Ugh.
And the big question we have is, does Midas love her for who she is or for what she represents?
I mean, knowing what we know, it's absolutely what she represents.
It's absolutely what she represents.
She's the golden ticket, for lack of a better phrase.
She really is. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And then going back to the cage, we talked about how it's metaphysical and physical. It's also emotional and mental. I mean, this cage just really showcases how she views herself and her world. She's protected there. It's safe there. She's got all the comforts she thinks she needs. And Midas does a really good job of making her feel like the only way to protect her is to keep her locked up.
Yes. Yeah. I don't like it, but just some of the things that he says to her about, am I not giving you enough? Do you not have enough? Other women would kill to be in the position you're in. In some of the later chapters, it's talking about their trip from the Second Kingdom up, which it only lightly covers. Like, he's my savior, and I was talking to other people when we were on the road, and he told me not to talk to them. And then she gets up, and they attack her in the middle of the night.
Yeah, they try to chop off her hair or something.
They do chop off her hair.
That's right.
And I really wonder if he set that up to reinforce. Like, it never covers this in any of the books so far, which by the book that we've read, which is what, the 5th book?
Yeah.
It's definitely we're never gonna find this out. But I think that he set that up to just reinforce that he needs to protect her, because he's the one that saves her from them after they've dumped her in the water, after cutting her hair and everything.
I never thought about that. I was always just like, oh, that was super convenient that he was able to say, God. Just over here ignoring all the plot holes, all the Easter eggs. I'm just, whatever.
No, it's fine. It's fine. This is the chapter that we get her first bright side into.
Yes, she specifically calls out that she's a bright side girl.
Yes, she tries to look on the bright side of everything and keep a positive outlook.
Well, I mean, what else is she going to do? It's not like she's going to go for a walk and clear her head.
No, not really.
It also just sets the tone for the objectification of all women, not just Oren. Even though she's our narrator, she's our main focus. She's our main girly. All women, and especially the Saddles, are just treated as things.
Objects.
Yeah. Like, they're just, all they're good for is one thing. They're not supposed to have thoughts. They're not supposed to have feelings. They're not supposed to do anything other than provide entertainment, I guess is what I'll say, to keep it friendlier. Yeah. But that's what I got for chapter 1. Chapter 2. This chapter delves deeper into Oren's backstory, and boy, she's got a lifetime movie of stories that she could sell. She was trafficked as a child, torn from her family, and witnessed unspeakable horrors, including the murder of her caretakers. And this is really, we learn more as the books go on, but this is really like the tip of the iceberg as far as her tragic backstory. She's 5. She is,
She's so little.
When I was 5, I was playing with the neighborhood kids,
Yep.
just existing. But this trauma definitely explains her dependency on Midas. He didn't just save her, he gave her what she thought was safety. But is it really safety when it comes with bars, golden or otherwise? Even Orin acknowledges that she's a prison at the end of a chapter 1 quote, saying, "I'm a gold-plated prisoner, but what a pretty prison it is."
And Midas, for his part, leans hard into the savior role. He dismisses all of Orin's need for affection by saying, "Look at all I've given you. You have everything you could ever want." And that is classic abuser tactic, making you feel guilty for wanting just the bare minimum in life. And Orin buys into it because she's been trained for the last 10 years. He saved her when she was 15 years old. So she's convinced that her life could be so much worse, and she's lucky to have what Midas has given her. And it's so hard to read and watch because we can see just how much he's gaslighting her and how much she's gaslighting herself.
Exactly. And let's be real, when we're 15, we don't know anything. We're just going to go with whoever saves us or tells us what we want to hear or makes our life easier.
Especially if, like Orin, we have a low self-esteem, and all we want to do is desperately fit in. We just want to be normal like everybody else.
So it's not discussed in this chapter, but 15 is about when she started growing the ribbons, right?
She grew the ribbons about 2 weeks before Midas saved her. I'm using air quotes every time, just so you guys know. Saved.
Which I don't think he had anything to do with the ribbons.
No.
As far as manipulating her, but golly, that's convenient.
Yeah.
She just got through all of this growing pains, I guess is what I'll call it. And we can only imagine what that was like.
I really just wonder if it was part of her puberty.
Okay. I mean, puberty was hard enough without growing ribbons.
I know. That is true. It's bad enough that you get boobs and a period.
And then you're stuck with that for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Could you imagine?
Sorry.
Anyway, moving on. We're going to talk about King Fulk for a minute, or King Fuck as I call him.
Fair.
His introduction brings a whole new layer of sleaze to this story. He's got the power of duplication, but his personality is the worst. He's got a used car salesman personality, which I think I said before. But do you remember Matilda's dad from the movie Matilda?
Yeah.
That's kind of who I picture personality-wise.
Oh, I just picture that relative that when they touch you, everybody's like, that's part of his personality too.
Yeah, he's a sleazeball. He sees Orin as just another shiny object in Midas's collection, which again just really drills home how the world views saddles in general.
Yeah.
In this whole world, and it's not just the Sixth Kingdom or the Fifth Kingdom, right? So it's not just these two kingdoms that view saddles or women this way. It's this whole world is built by the patriarchy, and fuck the patriarchy. Raven, the author, does a really great job of making us hate Fulk.
Yes.
Like we just talked about, he's a sleazeball. But I do want to point out, all of this is coming from Orin's point of view. We only know how she feels about the sleazy uncle coming into town. We don't know anything about the sleazy uncle or what made him that way. Or if he really is sleazy, or if he's just playing a role. We don't know.
And since we're getting it from Orin's point of view, it's all based on how she perceives everything. So for all we know, he could be like the world's greatest dad, but he's just cringy around her because he treats her like a saddle, which is how he treats all saddles, including the two that are sitting on his lap.
On all times.
And feeding him food.
But it's not an excuse. But if in this world that's how you treat saddles, and he's never had anyone hold him accountable, is he actually more sleazy than Midas, or is he just a different kind of sleazy?
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, it could be anything. He's just, it's really hard to know because we don't get a different point of view. And everything, this entire book, Gild, everything until like the very last chapter is from Oren's point of view.
Yep.
And we get in later books, we get other people's points of view, which is really nice because then it's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because King Rot doesn't think the same way that Oren does. Neither does Midas. Neither does Queen Melina. Or Rissa, who's another saddle in Midas's
harem.
In his rotation. So
yeah,
it's interesting to see how other people perceive things.
I don't think Fulk was a bad guy.
Mm-mm.
I think Fulk was a typical guy
for
this
world. For Aurea.
Yeah.
Which is
a typical king. So like
yes.
I don't think he was as sleazy maybe as Oren made him out. Yeah.
Well, because I mean we're reading these and we're thinking, oh my gosh.
He's the worst. He's so gross.
Midas is so awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's obviously in love with Midas. Yes. And so anyone who's not Midas is going to be icky.
Yes.
And yes, she is a saddle. But that's almost more of a cover than anything. Yeah. She's not expected to perform other saddlery duties.
No, not at all. Yeah. He doesn't let anyone else touch her. And honestly, for the last decade, she's been sheltered. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, sheltered as in she's in a cage and has a roof over her head, but sheltered as in...
And also sheltered.
Sheltered.
Yeah, she's never had to deal with anyone other than Midas. I mean, her interactions with Queen Melina were... Even those were protected by Midas, really. So... While we're led to believe that King Fulk is gross and sleazy and the worst, maybe he just wasn't as conventionally attractive as Midas.
Right.
Which also goes into that. But also, I just think he was just another guy. I would say he's just trying to save his kingdom. But I don't...
He's just trying to make more money for his kingdom.
I'm not saying that he's doing that out of the goodness of his heart, though. Like, I don't think he was a selfless king.
No, I don't think so either. You mean like Rot?
All right. Was there anything else we want to talk about in chapter 2?
Let's just go to chapter 3.
Okay.
Where
wine
we start
hangovers and ribbons.
Yes, and that's where we start with Oren. She's nursing a wine hangover.
Then there.
Digby is trying to wake her up so that she can meet King Midas and Fulky for breakfast. She's not going to eat. She's going to watch.
She's going to perform. She's there to perform.
Yeah, Midas basically wants her there so that she can be seen and so that she can play the harp.
Be seen and not heard, even though she's playing the harp. Yeah.
So this chapter really shows a lot in different characters' moments. We do get to meet Digby, who is one of my favorite characters.
I love Dig.
He is her loyal guard, and he does not interact with her at all. Because if you get too close to Oren, Midas has been known to chop your head off and stick it on a golden spike for everybody else to see so that they know not to touch his toys.
Or all your fingers and all your toes and dip them into gold and then nail those to your door.
But he stays with her even when he could have retired years ago because he knows that she needs someone to protect her.
Digby is the father figure she's desperately needed. Mm-hmm. And I don't think she realizes, especially at this point, I don't think she realizes how much she needed him or relied on him even.
She doesn't realize that until much later. So
yeah. And then we also meet Jacques, who has a shock value. Mm-hmm. He just openly disrespects her.
I think that the reason that Raven included Jacques is so that he could be the standard soldier.
That makes sense.
Because one of his first questions is, do you think her cunt is golden too?
Yeah.
And she was like, excuse me, it's not polite to talk about someone's cunt in front of them. And he's like, but what else are you good for? I mean, you're a saddle. What else is there to talk about?
First off, rude. Secondly,
okay.
Can we talk about Oren's internal monologue for a minute?
I love her.
Do you know who it reminds me of?
Anna Kendrick?
You.
Oh.
Every time she says something, I'm like, Jen would totally say something like that. Like, oh, wow, so Jacques an asshole. Got it.
Yeah. Okay, I did not picture that, but okay. I'll take it.
Yeah, and like the whole time I'm like reading her inner. Well, okay, let me rephrase this. Book 1 inner monologue is very much Jen.
Yeah,
the Jen that I know today.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know you kind of struggle with her a little bit in the later books, which we'll get into when we cover them. But, anyway, moving back on to we were talking about Digby.
Well, we talked about Digby.
We did talk about Digby. We were talking about Jacques. But let's go back to Digby because he's more fun than Jacques.
Okay. What do you want to talk about, Digby?
I think Digby saw a sad, lonely woman who needed a protector. And that's why he stayed as long as he did. I think maybe there was a father-daughter thing going on. Not in like a...
Yeah, there was nothing sexual about it.
But very much a...
night protector.
Yeah, something. Like, I don't know if Digby had a daughter around her age or what, but I don't think we ever find that out that I can remember. Maybe we do in Goldfinch. Don't ruin it for us. But I think that's why he stayed as long as he did.
Yeah.
It's because it was a father-daughter, night queen protector kind of thing. I think he really, honestly, truly liked her as a person.
I think so. And that he really wanted to just protect her.
Yeah. I do too.
Yeah.
Well, that's no fun if we both agree, so.
Oh.
The standout moment that we get in chapter 3 is that we learn about Oren's magical ribbons, which I'm going to say, reading about it for the first time was so hard to picture. I honestly want to know what Raven was thinking when she decided to add ribbons to this. Was it intentional from the beginning? Did something happen later on and she's like, well, I have to add ribbons? I don't know. The ribbons end up making sense.
I mean, they do.
Kind of later on.
Yeah.
But when the cold read of this, when you're first reading this, you're just like, ribbons? And there's 24 of them along her back, like a stegosaurus, but with ribbons.
Yeah.
And I was so confused about these ribbons. But the ribbons are completely unique to her, and they symbolize some of her hidden strength, which we'll see much later in the books.
Mm-hmm.
She can control them, but she keeps that a secret, almost like she's afraid to acknowledge her own power. And this is such a great metaphor for her own potential, that she has strength, but it's buried under years of trauma and conditioning. Do you think it's because she's so afraid of her power, or because she wants to be normal, and having the ribbons, no matter what, makes her not normal?
I think that she just desperately wanted to be normal, because if she could be normal, maybe she could be out of her cage.
She could be accepted. I mean, the ribbons happened before the cage, but even before the cage, she was on the run. She was...
Well, I don't even think she had time to process that they were part. I mean, she knew that they were part of her and that they were prehensile, so she could use them. Like in this chapter, they braid her hair. But I don't think that when Midas saved her, she had time to process what the ribbons actually meant for her.
As a reader,
because it was so close together.
I didn't process what the ribbons meant for her until much later, but you picked this up right away.
I did. Sorry.
It was so annoying. I hated talking to you about this book.
Well, and then at the end of this chapter is just like the crazy part for me.
This is where we disagree. This is another disagreement for us.
It's okay. This is where Folky is like, are you sure that I can't have her? Just one night. Just one night.
I would pay you handsomely for one night.
And you see Oren's inner monologue going, she plucks a flat string or something on her harp because
I
she's
think she calls it a sour
playing
note.
her harp.
Yep.
And she's like, oh my God, everybody gets quiet. What's going to happen? The last time somebody did this, King Midas chopped off his fingers and toes, dipped them in gold, and put them on his door to remind him not to ask. And to show everyone else that
to
they
deter
shouldn't.
everyone. Yeah.
And Midas doesn't immediately shut him down.
And this is where you think her first crack happens.
I think it is, because she's sitting there just kind of gaping, staring at him like, seriously?
Hey.
Why are you not saying no to this? And I just think that it's the first time she's like, am I not good enough?
No,
Is he really going to share me? So I think it is, but that's okay.
I don't know. I think it happens. I think it's the next chapter that it happens, when he actually agrees to it. I think that's where we get the first actual foundation. I will say, maybe this is the frozen water that causes the foundation crack.
I think that this is like a micro crack, like when a rock hits your windshield and you get those little imperfections that start to happen.
Yeah, the ones that I ignore until I can't anymore.
Until you can't anymore, and it's a big giant crack. I think this is one of those little cracks.
I don't know. If it is, I don't think Oren even realizes it yet.
Probably not.
For as smart as our girl is, she is not that emotionally in tune.
No.
But I think that goes into Midas's conditioning too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Oren. All right. Chapter 4. This is where I think the first crack happens. Yeah. This is the first official, I'm taking my stand. This is the first crack where Midas actually agrees to Folk's offer of selling her off for a night. She's actually going to have to play the saddle for a night for the first time ever, really. She's never had to play a saddle for anyone other than Midas. Well, since Midas
saved her.
Yes. I think this is the ultimate betrayal, is when he agreed to it. She has spent 10 years believing that Midas would only protect her, nothing else, and now she finds out she's just another pawn in his game. However, after all of this talk about the first crack, we don't actually see the first acknowledged crack talked about much later, until chapter 11 is when the first time that she mentions an actual crack happening in her foundation. Yeah. And that is so wild to me that we as readers are like, oh girl, no. This is happening so much sooner. But, to your point, it's also the first time she uses his name publicly.
Yes.
Yeah. So, in this scene, Oren, she calls King Midas
Tyndall. That's his name.
Which is...
I mean, everybody gasps when she does it.
Right.
So
Folk demands one night, no interruptions.
Yes.
And Midas says, dope, but your army has to help my army take on the Fourth Kingdom. Which...
This is the first time we hear about King Rot.
It is the first time we hear about King Rot. It's the first time we hear about the Fourth Kingdom, or really any other kingdom. It goes against the agreement that all of the countries have, or the kingdoms have with each other, to not attack anyone. Everyone has basically agreed to live peacefully. Obviously, there's trade negotiations and whatnot that happen, but... So, Midas using his army to go against King Rot, it's putting Folk at risk, right? He's got to give up his army for one night with a girl. Come on, dude. Come on.
But she's worth it because she's gold. That is the entire argument that Midas gives.
Okay.
No, but really.
Also, though, Oren's been kept away for 10 years. She's unsullied.
Yes.
By anyone other than...
Unsullied. Sorry, I was having a Game of Thrones moment. Sorry. It's fine. I'm fine now.
But yeah, and then going against that agreement that all the countries have, that's a huge risk for Folk and Midas to take.
Yeah.
All for one night. Wild.
So we're saying that she has a magical golden cut?
I guess.
Okay.
I don't know if I could sell mine for a night and get an army. And you're right. It is Tyndall. Tyndall.
Yeah.
Tyndall. Can we call him King Tylenol from now on?
You can if you want to.
All
we don't have to
right.
call him that for very long.
That's true. Anyway, okay. So we also were introduced to King Rot. Very, very surface level.
And he's the king of the Fourth Kingdom. They literally tell us that he's the king and that his people are afraid of him because they have to live in a rotted area,
well,
and that really they're doing the people of his kingdom a service by coming in and defeating him and taking over so that they can save. Midas likes to be a savior. Save them. Midas convinces Folky that this is a great idea, but it doesn't really take much to convince him.
Have Oren on the hook.
And I love that Oren's like, why? Why was this so easy? I mean,
that's true. She very much was like
she did. This is the first time that she's like, I mean, we know that she's smart. You can see that. And we know that she knows how to read, which I'm betting a lot of the saddles don't.
I don't know
how to do that.
I feel like the royal saddles might.
But I'm guessing a lot of the
common saddles maybe don't.
Maybe not.
Is it ever really explicitly explained? I guess it's not, is it? But Oren's been the favored for 10 years.
10 years.
She's been around kings.
Yeah.
She knows how they think. Well,
not in only chapter 5.
Oh, yep, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Chapter 5.
So this is where Oren spends most of her time watching the two kings in the library. She's pretending to read a book.
Well, she goes to the library at night, right?
She sneaks into the library to figure out why
it was so easy.
Yeah, what it was about Fourth Kingdom that made it so easy for Midas to convince Folky that this was a good idea, knowing that King Rot will basically rot their insides and make them melt and smell really gross.
Right.
So she might be in a cage, but she's got a really quick mind.
She's got nothing else to do.
Yeah. She's smart, capable, and everybody underestimates her like they do every other saddle. She's just there to be a fixture.
This first book especially is really hard to get through as, I'm not going to call myself a feminist, but I'm very much a women aren't objects. A decent human person, maybe I'll call myself.
I mean, I could be a feminist and a decent human being at the same time.
Well, no, they're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I don't know. Maybe I am a feminist. I don't know. I just want women to have equal rights. I just want to be able to have my own bank account. Anyway, chapter 5. This is one of, I'm going to say, one of our favorite chapters in this book.
It is.
Which, it kind of sucks that it happened so early, but it is a good stepping stone for how Oren's going to develop. We get a little bit of her personality here. This is where we get her first act of defiance. She throws a book at Risa, who's another saddle, because Risa is being forced to dance. King Folk is like, go dance, and then ignores her and talks politics. Oren notices that she's tired, she's wincing, she's struggling. And so
she's been dancing for 3 hours.
3 hours. 3 hours of just dancing. Cage dancing, I guess. Not really in a cage, but might as well have been. Anyway, our girl, Oren, she offered to help Risa nicely at first. She did. She reached out a hand and said, "Hey, I see that you're tired. I'm sure I can come up with a distraction so you can rest for a minute."
Mm-hmm.
Risa
Or if
blows
you
her off.
faint, I will
back you up.
totally back
Yeah.
you.
Yep. She's trying to be a girl's girl. She's trying to she's honestly at this point, she's trying to connect to someone.
Yep.
But she feels for Risa too. She feels for someone who's in pain and in suffering. And Risa blows her off and is not playing nice. So Oren doesn't really take no for an answer in this case and ends up chucking a book at Risa and hitting her square in the face, right in the nose, which does get Risa to stop dancing. I'm just saying, the goal was accomplished.
Yeah. Yep.
It may have not been the outcome that Oren had wanted, and it may have actually isolated her a little bit more than what she was hoping for.
Yeah.
But her goal was accomplished.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, she tried. She tried so hard just to.
She did. My favorite part was after she hit her in the face with, by the way, this book was gold because everything's gold.
Because we're in King Midas's castle.
And she didn't realize exactly how heavy the book was until she threw it, which is why her nose is gushing blood. And when the guards are taking Risa out, because 2 of the 6 guards, because Midas has a 6 fetish, 2 of those guards are taking her back to the saddle's wing.
The harem wing.
Yeah. And when they're taking her out, in my mind, I just love this so much. Oren's like,
I got you, girl.
I got And Risa's just livid.
Honestly, this is the part the most, and I'm like, oh, that's Jen. That's 100%
so much
Jennifer.
I would be like,
I did it. Guys, I did it.
Done. And then the kings decide, since she took away their plaything, that she can make up for it by dancing for her instead.
But she's still in the cage, so she's still protected.
Thankfully, because this is like one of the nastiest. So this is my favorite and least favorite chapter all in one. Because King Folk walks over to her while she's dancing.
Oh, yeah.
And he's so gross. There's something in the chapter where he's like, I'm going to cover you with so much cum that you're going to be white. And I threw up a little in my mouth. Like, no. And the worst part is I think he thought that was going to turn her on. She even stops dancing because she's just stunned that he would say something like that.
Are you ready for the quote?
Yes.
I'm going to mark you with so much cum, your skin won't even look gold anymore. He says before rasping out a dark smoker's laugh.
Yeah. Gross.
Yeah.
And then Midas is like, hey, you're not dancing.
But we're also starting to see more in these chapters, and it's subtle. It's subtle, and I'm so proud of myself for catching this on my reread. But we're hearing things in her inner monologue, like, sit pretty, play your silly music, leave them in to speak. And we can tell that these are, like, just driving forces that are getting under her skin and making her mad. And eventually, it's going to force her to make some drastic changes.
Yes.
Also, I counted 7 bright sides.
In that one chapter?
Yeah.
I have 7. Because chapter 5, the very, like, one of the last things Oren says is,
bright side.
Bright side, at least things couldn't get any worse.
Oops.
And then Queen Melina showed up.
I stand corrected. It just got worse. See, that's why you don't say shit like it can't get any worse. Because then Queen Melina's going to show up and you're just going to...
And that brings us to the end of the chapters that we were covering this week.
That's chapters 1 through 5, guys.
So...
there was a lot of world building and character intros in these chapters.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to get more into, like, our theories, and we're going to talk more about other stuff as the books get going. Yeah. These first books, especially in this 6-book series, it's just a lot of world building, explaining things, character intros.
Yep.
Think Throne of Glass, guys, but with very graphic scenes.
And there's a lot of foreshadowing, especially in these first couple of chapters.
Yes.
So you see a lot of, like, I know that we talked about there's a lot of world building, and we're eventually going to start talking about all of Oren's growth because, but this is where it starts.
This is where we're led to believe as readers that she's weak, right?
For sure.
She doesn't do anything with her ribbons. The most her ribbons do is braid her hair.
Mm-hmm.
She jokes about not being physical, right? She tries to pry open the bars and then laughs about how weak she is.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of hints to her weakness in these chapters. I have to go through all my light blue is my world building and my foreshadowing.
But all of her weakness, it reinforces how easy it is for Midas to manipulate her because she thinks she's too weak to take care of herself.
Oren, girl.
I know we didn't really talk about this much in the first chapter. During the orgy, she is admiring, there's a male saddle, because not all saddles are females. He is extremely buff, and she talks about how he probably spends all of his time away from Midas working out, and that she should do that too, because what else does she have to do? And then she laughs and looks for wine.
Same. You knew that she was Fae long before I did. You knew in the first 5 you had suspicions.
Yeah.
In the first 5 chapters.
I did. The ribbons were what did it for me. And I actually so we're not spoiling anything to tell you that Oren is actually the person that has the touch, the golden touch. It's not Midas. We find that out at the end of this book.
Do we? So we find this out too in this book a lot because it's hinted a lot. Queen Melina says, "I know the truth."
Yeah.
And I had no idea what truth she was talking about. I was still in the dark in my first read through, and I'm like, "Wow, what a crazy queen! Bitches be crazy, am I right?"
Yeah.
And then this person over here, Miss Jen, was like, "So is she a bigger deal than what we're thinking?" I can't give you spoilers.
No, I don't like spoilers. Spoiler alert, guys. I hate spoilers. I don't like it. If I'm reading a book for the first time, I don't want you to tell me what's happening. Fair. But back to her weaknesses and her hidden strength, though. So we know that Oren talks a lot about her being weak in these first 5 chapters, and it's definitely foreshadowing for later on in the books. So starting around book 3, where King Rot's people, his wrath, starts training her, and they give her strength training. And I think it's great that the wrath all start to teach her their styles of fighting. I love how seriously they take it. Like, once they realize that she's serious about it, they're like, oh, okay, we can do this. Like, let's do this then. And we're going to do it right. We're not just going to beat the shit out of it. It feels like it, but we're not just going to beat the shit out of you. Well, and a lot of it, they were all so disappointed in her in book 3. Because there's a lot of disappointment in book 3. There's a lot of disappointment in book 3. Oren goes back to Midas somewhere in book 3. Midas' last 3 books. Right. And so the wrath is just kind of, they take a step back because they're like, clearly you don't want to be around us. Yeah. And a lot of that is, I mean, it pulls into her trauma. So she's talking to us about, she talks to us a lot about her trauma, how when she was younger and they were trying to escape a war, how somebody found out about it and they murdered her caretakers and she's sold into slavery. Literally right in front of her. They didn't just murder her caretakers, and then hid the bodies. Like, they murdered the caretakers in front of her and the other children. Yep. And she's sold into human trafficking in the Second Kingdom.
That's where she starts, yeah.
Durford Harbor. And so at first she's just a thief because she's so little, thank God, because I would not have been able to finish this had I found out that anything else happened to her.
I would honestly,
at that age.
I would have given you a
been
warning if I had known that it had happened.
This would have gone on my DNFs.
You're
100%.
That's a nice book. I guess
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it here.
Yeah, this was interesting, but now I'm done.
Now, if I had known something like that was happening, I would have warned you. That is definitely a trigger warning that anyone should.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, we find out that Midas was actually one of the pimps.
Oh my God. I was shooketh when this happened. And you were like, oh yeah, you didn't see that coming? And I'm like, where did you get your compass? Who told you? What oracle are you talking to that tells you this information?
It's in the book.
Like, listen, I'm terrible at Easter egg hunts. I'm terrible at Easter eggs in books. I am reading a book for the vibes.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I just understood Raven so much in this. We were on the same page, literally, the whole time I was reading. And I love that's what drew me in to Gild.
Because I finished the series before I told you about it, right?
You had read all the way up until the 5th book.
Okay. Because I remember reading that and being like, I have no one to talk to about this. No one I know is reading this book. No one is going to be as shook as I am. I need someone else to get on my level. And that's when I was like...
And that's how you tricked me into reading Throne of Glass, too.
In my defense, I was much more honest about this series.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yes, but Auren had a horribly traumatic past.
She did.
And I think Midas, obviously we know Midas preyed on that.
For sure.
He, definitely leaned into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I hate Midas so much.
I can't either.
So at this point in the book, all we know about the ribbons is that they're ribbons, right? They trail behind her. They do her hair occasionally. Yeah,
she can control them. They're prehensile is what she calls them.
Yes.
So we know that she can do things with them.
I guess it never really clicked for me. Okay, so I knew she could do things with them, but I never really considered them a strength. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I just kind of consider them like hair extensions, they were just kind of there.
Like accessories.
Yeah, they were just pretty accessories that were really awkward, and you had to wear backless dresses, which means you couldn't wear bras, so hopefully you didn't have anything bigger than a B cup.
They do say she's curvy. That's how she's described.
Literally an hourglass shape, yep.
Yep. And I think... See, now, when I heard about the ribbons, I was like, oh, she's magic.
Oh, fuck you.
Well, they talked about her ribbons, and then, 2 sentences later, they talk about how, in order to be a king or queen, you have to have magic. You can be, a princess and have no power, but in order to rule, you have to have power.
This was driven home, I don't know, 15 times in this book that you had to have magic to be a ruler. And I never connected the dots until book 2 or book 3 where they're like, oh yeah, BT dubs, because of her ribbons, she's magical. Hello.
And I was like, I want ribbons.
I would love some ribbons to do my hair.
Maybe then I could somebody to braid my hair.
Yeah. But then, can you imagine having to wear a backless dress in the winter?
No, thank you. Well, if I'd ever leave the house or my cage, it's probably not that bad.
Fair. That's fair.
But yeah, no, not with...
Well, I think
she wraps them around herself at one point. Actually, multiple times. She wraps them around herself for extra warmth and basically a hug because it's the only human contact she
Because
gets, even though it's with
touch.
herself.
Yeah.
Yes,
Ugh.
she touches herself just like the song. I couldn't help it. Sorry.
I'm so glad you said that. I do love how she doesn't hate her ribbons, right?
No.
Like at this point in the story, she's just kind of accepted them.
Yeah.
She's just like, okay, so this is part of me, but she doesn't love them either.
No.
Right? She's just these are something that's a part of me that I have to make exceptions for.
Yep.
Like wearing high heels or whatever. Like I can't think of another good example, but it's just something she kind of has to like work around, and she's just accepted it. But she doesn't love them either. They're just there. They're kind of useful sometimes, but they're definitely not used to their full potential in this book.
It's definitely an untapped strength for her, and she doesn't even realize it.
And she won't realize it for 2 books?
2 books.
Yeah. I love this book series. I love Raven. I love the world building, but I do feel like it could have gone a skosh quicker. Skosh. Okay, we got off topic again.
We did, I'm sorry.
Do you have anything to add about Oren's ribbons or how they...
No, I think we covered
Eventually
her.
We're going to see her grow to love them.
Yes.
She's
heartbreaking.
Yes. I love that she ends up loving them. I think that's amazing. Because a lot of people don't love what makes them different.
A lot of people have, especially like on Reddit and on Facebook, talked about how weird they were.
Really?
Yes. And that they thought it was creepy that she had them because of the way it was originally described.
Even I said at the beginning of this podcast, like, the ribbons are kind of weird. Like, I didn't know how to read them at first. So I am glad that she ends up loving them.
Yes.
And that she not only accepts them, but utilizes them, maybe is what I want to say. Like, she
learns how to use them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
And not just to braid her hair, but to do amazing things with.
Climb down a balcony. Or up a balcony.
Well, or catch yourself falling down a balcony.
Yeah, that too.
Do you want to talk about the gilded cage?
Sure. So the cage is a big representation of Oren's own emotional and psychological captivity. So not only is she being confined in a physical cage, Midas has basically put her in a mental one too. And it takes Slade. I'm sorry. Yes, Slade. It takes
King
Slade,
Rod,
who we know at that point as Commander Rib.
Oh, that's right.
To pull her out of that and to make her see that she doesn't deserve to be in a prison, that there's so much more to the world than the bad things that she's seen.
And
he shows her that.
Some bad shit.
Yeah. And he shows her that. And Lou shows her that. And Judd shows her that. And Osric, who is probably my favorite of the Wrath.
I love that you shows say her that. Do you know who Osric reminds me of?
Hagrid.
No.
Who?
John.
No. He's much hairier than John. And taller.
You're just straight up like, absolutely not. Do not ruin this for me.
Don't take this away from me. I need Osric to be like...
I will... Okay, I'll go with the Hagrid.
Okay, maybe not Hagrid, because Hagrid would make it too creepy for my young adult loving Harry Potter. Maybe more like from Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
The dwarves.
Yeah, okay.
Except taller.
Sure. But like the same kind of vibe.
Yes. Oh.
I do love that she's eventually able to break through her own self-imposed. I hate that she had to go back. I hate that she... I'm not going to say escaped, because there was an escape, but it wasn't like intentional. Like, her end goal was always to go back to Midas.
Yes, but on her own terms. And her decision to go back to him originally was to save people.
True.
And
That's a
no
good
one
point.
saw that but her.
That's a good point.
Like Slade, aka King Rot, aka Commander Rip. What he wanted was for her to stay with him. Because I think that they are mates.
But he wanted that to be her choice.
But he wanted it to be her choice, but he didn't realize that her leaving him wasn't because she didn't love him. It was because she didn't think she had a choice.
Okay. Yeah.
Because she wanted to prevent a war between the kingdoms, which is exactly what would have happened. King Rot's army would have killed all these other people, which, okay, she kills a lot of people at the end of the book. But
I think she was conflicted, though.
She really was. Like, she didn't want to go, and she wanted to go back on her terms.
She wanted Midas to want her.
And to accept her.
And yeah, she wanted things to be
different.
Like you said, different on her terms. She wanted to go back. She wanted to go back to that comfort, but a different kind of comfort.
Yes.
Because she's been with Midas for 10 years. I can't imagine walking away from a 10-year relationship and just being like, all right, bye.
I can't.
And I think I can't imagine watching someone that I had just fallen in love with walk back into the lion's den, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think at this point they had, confessed their love to each other or anything.
No.
I think he knew before she did, which I'm a sucker for he falls first, because, that just makes me feel happy inside. I think she was worried about the other people. I think she still had some hope. I think she really had some hope that Midas would hear her out. And I think that was really naive of her, but I also understand where that naivety came from.
Yeah.
But from Slade's point of view, I can't imagine this being like, this is your choice, I guess. Let me know what you want.
Yeah.
I guess. Please pick me.
Yeah, please. Just pick me. It's okay.
It's all good.
And this is also where the foreshadowing about all the different powers that we have coming up. We've got King Folky, who can duplicate things. Midas, who can turn things to gold.
King Rot.
King Rot, who rots things. And as far as we know, at this point, that's all he does.
Right.
He just terrorizes everybody and, makes them rotten.
And we don't know anything about Queen Melina at this point. She's literally just been introduced as someone who hates Orin, and that's
exactly. So this is Raven starting us on understanding all the different powers.
So if you had to put Orin in a Harry Potter house, where would you put her? I've been thinking about this all week. A Hufflepuff?
Hufflepuff.
Really?
Maybe Ravenclaw, but Hufflepuff. Hufflerin? Not Gryffindor. I mean, she does have some Gryffindor tendencies.
She's always sticking up for the underdog.
Yeah, okay, where would you put her?
I was thinking Slytherin.
King Rot's definitely Slytherin.
King Rot is 100%
Slade is 100% Slytherin.
Yep.
I think at this point in the books, she's Hufflepuff.
That's fair. Do you think she's a Hufflepuff that maybe grows into a Ravenclaw, maybe?
She's very smart.
She is very smart.
And we know that from the beginning.
Smart. Which is
she does
smart to do.
Yeah. Why don't we ask Raven Kennedy herself?
Hey,
I bet we can find it somewhere.
Will you tell us where you'd put Orin?
You can check through her Facebook posts.
I'm sure. She's actually super active.
She's very active in her Facebook groups. There's a Raven Kennedy's readers group.
I think our podcast is part of that.
Yeah, and I know I am too, because that's where I saw that she is
Did you?
putting out the new books in 2026. She has a duology for the Pied Piper series coming
I
out.
really want to read her Cupid story. That sounds super
Yeah.
interesting to me too. So I need to get through this book club series and then I can pick that up. I was going to ask you something else.
Okay.
What was I going to ask you?
Midas is definitely Slytherin.
But Midas is like the slimy Slytherin. You know, like the one that doesn't actually have any honor, but just is slimy.
Mm-hmm.
He gives Slytherins a bad name.
He's like the Voldemort of Slytherin too, because he sucks.
True.
He sucks at it so bad.
It's so bad. I would put Slade as a Slytherin, which we talked about. Where would you put Orsic? I'd put him as a Gryffindor.
He's a Gryffindor.
Yeah. He's too
Is
loyal.
Judd, I would either put in Gryffindor or Hufflepuff.
But the thing with Judd is he's so playful.
He is.
And he does a lot of practical jokes, and I think that's so Hufflepuff of him. Like, he's not mean about them, but like...
Oh, no.
He likes to have fun.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a Judd in their life.
The twins, the Weasley twins, are Gryffindor. And that's who he reminds me of a little bit.
I can see that.
Especially with the stealing of the mead or wine between
the
him and Lou.
Forth, yeah. God, what was I going to ask you? It was a good question. I'm going to think of it at like 3 a.m.
Cool.
Do you have any predictions for Goldfinch at this point?
I don't want it to go in this direction, but I feel like if Oren tries to take power in the Fey world, she's going to die. I feel like it's going to be a divergent thing. I don't like it, but it's in my mind. It's what's been happening. I don't remember the end of Gold, but I can't remember if she and Slade ever find each other again.
I don't think they do at the end of Gold.
I don't think that they do at all.
No,
I think that he stays.
Ending.
I don't think that we get a happy ending. I think this is going to be very much a divergent. If I'm wrong, I would love to be wrong. I want to be wrong.
That in the nicest way possible, but I hope
I want to be wrong. I 100% want to be wrong on this. But I can't start Goldfinch because I'm afraid.
Well, I'm doing my reread right now, so I haven't started it yet.
Okay.
But, like, I don't get the she's gonna die vibe. I feel like one of the big things we learned at the end of Gold was that she had a brother.
Yep.
I don't think Slade had made it back there yet.
I think that we knew that she had a brother, though.
Well,
because they talk about it in Gild.
Okay, for those of us who read books for the vibes, it was confirmed she had a brother.
Okay, that's fair.
Fuck.
She definitely has a following.
Yes.
Which is fantastic.
Yes. So she is like she's the Mockingjay of her world.
Yeah.
Man, I hope she doesn't die.
I just threw a wrench into everything for you, didn't I?
But there's no, like, third love interest either. Is there?
I don't think so.
No, it's always, like, after Midas, it's always been King Rod.
Yeah. But she promised him herself.
True.
I mean, he didn't care if she messed around as long as he could be there too.
True.
But
I think they're mates.
I think they are
was
too.
Hinted at in book 4, maybe?
3 or 4.
3 or 4. Maybe it was 3. Maybe it was right before she went back to Midas. Because didn't they have, like, a whole thing by the lake? And he was like...
They did.
Oh, here's a thing about mates. And then, like, she was like, that's cool. I'm going back to Midas. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I mean, not in those exact words, but...
I mean, it might as well have been.
Basically.
She basically slapped him in the face, verbally.
My poor Slady.
Like, she could have just taken all 24 of those ribbons and just... Wha-pow!
Wha-pow!
And that would have been less painful than what she did to him.
I am, honestly though, I'm so proud of him for letting her go and just being like, this is her choice. It was a very Rhysand ACOTAR moment of being like, well, she made a decision. I have to respect it.
Okay.
He did until the wedding. He respected it until the wedding. That's a whole different podcast.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. That'll be a later podcast episode.
Yes. But thank you so much for listening to our first episode of Corks and Cauldron.
Yes, thank you.
Be sure to follow us on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Threads. We're at Corks and Cauldron for both of them. For all of them.
Yeah. And if you enjoyed this episode, please rate and review us. Share us with your book besties. Tell everybody. It's the best way to spread the word and help our podcast grow. This is a self-funded labor of love, and your support helps keep our magic alive.
And our glass is full.
And you can join our Patreon community today at patreon.com/corksandcauldron, and maybe even treat us to a bottle of wine.
Our next episode is going to drop next Thursday, and we'll dive into chapters 6 through 11.
And until then, eat,
drink,
and get lost in a good book.
Cheers.